Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I got a look at the Tier 5 Russian destroyer, Gnevny. We got troops on the screen here, running Vine, running Sims. All about the survivability build on these Russian destroyers. You can potentially throw in Violet as well to cut down how long you're detected when those guns fire. But you're going to spend a fair amount of your game kind of detected. You're going to be outspotted by all other destroyers. You could potentially throw Bay on there or something, but your concealment on this build is 7.3. Cruisers, 10, 11, some of them even over 12 kilometers at Tier 5, whereas all the other destroyers are going to be significantly better in terms of concealment. So, in my mind, just accept that all destroyers are going to outspot you, and if you primarily try and focus on spotting cruisers and battleships and then kind of staying close enough to your team so that when the enemy destroyer spots you, you're going to have some support dealing with them. That's how I'd recommend playing these so far. Here we're on shards, we're on sea, domination mode, closed side, meaning we have all the islands on here. We have two ships spotted here, and we should assume there's a destroyer in the area. The radio locator is kind of pointing at these two though, so not 100% sure what's going on with the destroyer. Phoenix is aggressively pushing in though. We got to make sure cruisers aren't able to push into us. Cruisers, of course, usually have sonar and they can push in towards you. Even if you try and pop smoke to disengage, they can pop the sonar and root you out that way. So you cannot let destroyers push in whatsoever. Phoenix is going to turn broadside. He's a Tier 3 failed platooner. We're going to teach him his lesson here. He does bounce that first one. If the back end of the ship's angled, try and aim more to the front. Of course, the nose is tapered in a little bit, so that's going to be more broadside to you than the back end, obviously. Now that he's basically fully broadside, he's going to feel the full force of this battle station, and we're just ripping him to shreds here. Not ideal. The AP close range against cruisers, quite effective. We're going to see it against some broadside battleships as this battle progresses. These guns are pretty solid. They're quick reloading. I got 4.6 on my build, 10.6 range, which is the best at the tier. 8% fire chance, not too bad for how fast you're firing them. And the best AP damage besides the T-61 and the Gaeti. So the Germans do have better AP, but that's to be expected. HE damage, best at the tier except for the Gaeti again. The Gaeti, of course, has the 150s, I think. Yeah, 150 millimeter guns. Here's the New York. He's again pushing in. We're still kind of in the back of our mind thinking about that destroyer, especially as the smoke's starting to die down here, but it seems to me that he's kind of gone off somewhere else, so we're going to have to deal with this New York. I'm kind of pulling forward behind my big brother there, hoping he's going to take the shot. New York did shoot at him, which is good for us. That's going to allow us, we got, 30 seconds now until you can really shoot. Secondaries aren't a major threat on that ship. So we're going to keep shooting with the guns, and then we're going to try and get into the torp range to make sure we finish this guy off. Then we're going to go ahead and take C, and then we'll start thinking about the destroyer. Do get reset there, but that's not the end of the world. Once we kill this New York, he's the main threat on this side, preventing us from capturing this base. Torps look pretty good to me, but he's going to go down before we can confirm that. And then as soon as he dies, watch that radio locator pop over there. And these guys, I'm not in communication with them, and I'm not really bothering to tell them, help me or whatever. If they were really observant, they could see that I'm a destroyer. I probably have the radio locator, and I'm heading this direction. So if they're really wise, maybe one of them would at least figure out to turn their guns over here. I'm not counting on that, though. And we haven't. The Mayhan is the enemy destroyer, so this is going to be a gunboat v gunboat square off. You can place your money on either ship. It just kind of depends on who plays it better in this situation. Mayhan does come around the island. I can assume he's got the radio locator as well, so he probably knew he was coming up upon us here. And, those destroyers, when they're coming straight at you, they can be a little bit difficult to hit, but we're going to keep trying to lead them here, hit them. As soon as those torps are ready, we're going to get them in the water too. We want to do one roughly on the indicator. That's kind of telling us where he's going max speed. Then we should assume he's going to cut back, and that's why we pulled that left hand, the second salvo way to the left there, and you can see those are kind of right on the money to finish him off. So we've effectively cleared off the side pretty quickly, captured C. We're over 52k damage, which is pretty good for these Russian destroyers. They're not typically high damage output ships. I kind of like to think of them as like Johnny on the spot, you know, Corporal Upham, only better in the execution, hopefully, than Upham. But you just kind of got to be aware of what's going on, who needs help, and then adjust to the situation. I kind of like these Soviet destroyers, at least through Tier 5. I don't think they're the best ship. In fact, I think they're probably the worst destroyer class up to Tier 5 at least. But they are fun, and they can be effective if played well. It's just very difficult because you're going to be, you know, you're kind of a really fast, light cruiser with no citadel. The range isn't outstanding, though. I mean, you're still going to be outranged by the cruisers, battleships. So they're going to always be able to outgun you. But, you know, it's a fun line of ships. I just don't think I'd want to play them if there was any money on the line. Alright, so moving into position here. Looks like we're up a ship, but you can see the Brittany's broadside to the entirety of the enemy team, so he's effectively dead. We're going to tell him to get back a couple times, and then the people by me respond and then kind of turn away, which was a little bit nerve-wracking. Anyway, what we need to do here, obviously once he dies, there's going to be a point swing. They're actually going to be up on points, and they have 2 caps. We have 1. First order business, we got to flip B. Luckily, pretty much their entire team was involved with capturing A, and now they're just trying to get back into position themselves. This one's not nearly as fast as the Tier 4 pod, which is, I think, probably the fastest destroyer, at least the ones I've come across so far. But this still tops off at about, seems like 40 knots, 38 according to the stat sheet, but once you hit that booster, I think you get them right around 40 if I'm not mistaken. So we can get over here relatively quickly, get on the cap. I do want to move to the right-hand side of this island here to be able to spot. Ideally, what I want the guys trailing me to do is utilize the island directly in front of me, the one to the right, or the one not pictured to the left. They can set up behind those. I can spot all these ships who are going to be coming towards B to try and prevent us from winning the game on score. Then they can fire from safety. Should be relatively easy, right? Things are never that easy in randoms, as you all well know. It's also important for us to be evaluating here as we're getting set up. Where are our trailing ships situated? I got a grass B kind of directly behind me to the northeast. I'm hoping he's going to be able to spot around me if I'm forced to deploy a cloud and disengage. Ideally, I'd like to utilize that cloud and continue to fire from it for the duration of the smoke cloud's existence. But if I inadvertently block that grass B with the smoke, that's going to prevent him from spotting, at least immediately. And then that's going to cause problems. The 2 guys to the south of the grass B don't seem like they're really that well situated for spotting, at least in the near term. Kirov pushing in. Again, we do need to be worried primarily about cruisers pushing in too close to us. That's when we're going to have a lot of problems. The battleships, we can keep them at range, and by using our builds and our tactics such as dodging and our speed and all that sort of stuff, hopefully we can keep those battleships at bay. Kirov does, we do get a shot on him, we do get a fire, but of course the smoke did block our fellow spotters. So this is kind of the situation we're worried about. Now we have a Pensacola who could theoretically charge towards us. We have a Kirov who's intermittently getting spotted. Looks like the grass speed probably picked him up, or the guys to the south came around. Either way, he is lit now. We need to start bombing on him. Hit him with the HE, then since he's broadside, we might as well switch over to AP. See if we can ding that citadel. If not, we're still going to be getting pretty decent damage with these AP salvos. The longer the range, the less effective these shells are. Of course, if you have Gurren, that should be mitigated if you're running the AP pen boost, which is how I would set that one up. But effective there nonetheless. We finish him off. Now the Dunkirk. Still broadside. Still got the AP rolling. And check out this damage. We're going to be getting 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 K per salvo. Again, every 4.5 seconds or so. That's a lot of damage that this thing can be pumping out in the right situation. So you do want to be using the AP whenever it's useful. Fire the shots. Keep an eye on those indicators. If they're favorable results, keep shooting the AP. If not, switch over to the HE. Dunkirk drops off there, so we do have to start shooting at the Fuso, at least intermittently. I'd rather be shooting the Dunkirk, less armored on the sides. The Fuso's better side armor, And if we're shooting HE at it, it's got very small superstructure, which is a lot harder to hit than this Dunkirk. So whenever we got this guy spotted over here, we're going to want to use him as our main target. Do get him to burn the damage con there with the fire, but we need to get away from these guys. What you always kind of want to be sailing away from the targets that are engaging with you, and keep going until you get them. Basically, they're not in your firing range anymore. That's how you'll be able to disengage, drop detection, and then you can reset the fight in a new position. Pensacola coming around here, though, this is a bit of a problem. Opening salvo with HE lands a couple shots. We're going to go ahead and switch over to the AP, test it out on here. Ideally, the Pensacola's got a big, juicy citadel. If we can hit it, we want to be taking those shots. Unfortunately, we're not aiming very well, or the shots aren't going where we want them to go, regardless of what the cause is. That was not as effective as we kind of needed it to be. We really needed to ding that guy up and at least make him afraid to try that play again. We don't want him thinking, okay, I'll take 500 damage in exchange for 4,000 or 5,000, whatever he's able to do on us. You want to make those trades in your favor, put the fear of God in their mind, and then just keep them away from trying anything like that again. Now that we're disengaged, we got to evaluate the situation. I got a battleship, I got a grass speed down to the south. Hopefully they can kill half-health Pensacola with ease. They also need to get on cap A, just in case. We can see what they're kind of trying to do with the red team in the middle. It seems like they're going to send one to C to stop that and then flip it. I don't know if they have enough time at this point in time for that to be an effective play. That looks like what they're trying to do here. Dunkirk coming around, he's really low, so we really need to kind of finish this guy off. Unfortunately, he's going to get away from this situation. I'm trying to get a pulled ahead here to utilize this spot. I wanted to stop right where I just was and use that little dip in the ridge to continue to fire on this guy until he was dead. You can see there's no real dip that we can utilize on the right-hand side of this island, so to continue to engage this guy, we need to get back up to speed and come out here going as fast as we can. Unfortunate, had we been able to use that cover, I think we could have possibly gotten this guy down. He is employing a heal at the moment, which is going to make it difficult. Here we do ground, though, which is, of course, an issue. You don't want two battleships that are really ticked off at you because you've been harassing them for a while, having free shots at you like this. We're playing with the throttle there, hoping to deke the Fuso, and looks like he probably just shot a little too high. That's alright, though. If we get lucky, we'll take it. But unfortunately, we should probably just kind of stop shooting here. I think, looks like that Fuso's probably still in range here. He's pushing in now, so even if we stop shooting, it's a little too close for comfort. Gonna try the AP here, but you can see the heavily armored sides of the Fuso just not having any problems really blocking the vast majority of those shells. So we're just kind of backing up here, hoping we're gonna get behind this island well, though they're still in the middle of their reload. And then we can take a look in the south and see, well, things aren't going that well. I mean, we got one battleship left kind of chasing off that, I don't know if it's a Pensacola or what it is, but the New Mexico, I kind of need him to get on A here. I was getting a little nervous that they were going to try that C capture. The score is very close at this point in time, so, if they kill me, which at this point in time I thought was pretty certain, we're going to need all the points coming in we can get. And this Fuso, hypothetically, if he kills me, he's going to get on B, stop that. The other guy could get on C. Then they could have all three caps in the process of being captured, and we're not getting any points at that time. They'd probably win on score. So the best play for him to do is charge forward, get on A, and then hopefully kill this Pensacola. You can see he's very low, but I have no confidence that this player is going to be able to handle this. Hoping this guy was going to be in my torp range so we can get some shots off, but nope. You're not going to get a lot of torp range or targets in your torp range with a ship very often. So we're just going to have to deal with this Pensacola. Again, he's pushing it aggressively. If he spots me, we're going to have a lot of problems. We're going to have to rely on our dodging and weaving here, open water. And you can keep an eye on that diagram. We'll be flipping around quite a bit here. We're going to have the Pensacola shooting at us. We're going to have the Fuso and probably the Dunkirk as well. If they're smart, they'll all be shooting at us. So, a bit of an issue here. You got to be constantly just flipping around, turning, and get those shells off as quick as you can. Luckily, we do survive there. they're flipping B, which will give us a chance to get some capture resets to boost our score a little bit. I think even if they kill us here, barring disastrous play from the New Mexico, we'd probably win just due to the fact that the time's almost gone. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and reset the base anyways, because it's the right play to do. And it'll boost your score as well. So, I mean, that's kind of a wild game of the Gnevny there. Again, games like these are fun to play, but you're going to get deleted pretty quickly sometimes in these ships too. So, not the easiest ship to play. A lot of people kind of think it's the dud in the line, at least from those of you that have unlocked them all and give me the feedback. But that was a pretty good look at that one. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. I do love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.